Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 13 in Be With Me in the book of 1pete2. We're in chapter 2, a really wonderful passage. Yesterday we looked at what should be our relationship to a non-elected, no term limits, unopposed, corrupt, and frequently evil and often violent government. And that is, quote, be subject to every human institution. What? And much to our surprise, it's one not of an imposed subjection, but a voluntary subjection. That is, I do it to myself. And why? Why would I do that? Well, it's for the Lord's sake, for a public witness with the goal of the salvation of others. So in this milieu, this evil milieu, you can have this beautiful adorning in the hidden person of your heart. And we find it's that hidden person of the heart is eventually not very hidden. That is, it has a witness. And so the adorning of the gospel starts in the heart, then it spills out for all people to see. Now we're going to keep going with today, and today we're going to talk about unjust suffering. That's the title of today. So this is verse 16 in chapter 2. Live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but as living servants of God. Honor everyone. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the emperor. Do you know any good emperors? Verse 18. Servants, be subject to your masters with all respect, not only to the good and gentle, but then get this, but also to the unjust. This is almost unbelievable. Help us understand this, Lord. So let me first talk about verse 16. Live as people who are free. So you get to choose. We get to choose freely. We have free will. We get to choose what we do with our free will. Well, he tells us a couple things. Be subject. So that is voluntary. Submit to those who are acting and occupying in God-given offices. Then fear God. That's the main thing, is live like we should before God, under God. And then you can make things like, crazy things in Scripture, like honor the emperor. It gives you context for honoring the emperor. Fearing God gives you context for that. All right, live free. So this is the choice. And I've seen this done with people who have occupied spaces in the pew at church, but here are not behaving as if God occupies that space in their lives. Basically what I've seen is some people do what they want, give into temptation, and choose not to suffer against and push against temptation, and actively make decisions unwise and disobedient to all the previously revealed will of God, not a debatable thing. And then they say, well, God will forgive me, and sort of intentionally sticking their finger in God's eye. So, yes, you can live free, but live free in a way that makes good choices and adorn your heart in a certain way with certain actions. And don't use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Okay, so then verses 17 and 18. So we were treading on the foothills of unjust suffering yesterday and today, and maybe you can have a wonderful human institution, or a perfect husband that you submit to, or a perfect parent that a child would submit to in these various offices. And it makes the submission obviously easier. But now we're going to march right up the mountain of unjust suffering, and specifically is going to say that we are to be submitting to people that may be evil. Listen to this. Servants, be subject to your masters with all respect, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the unjust. So this word, servant, it's bondservant. This is a person that has voluntarily put themselves in this relationship, but maybe their master has kind of gone bad. And what he's asking the person to do is adorn yourself, the servant person, the one that is subjecting himself. Adorn yourself beautifully on the inside, and then let it spill on the outside. So to who? To your masters. Well, the wonderful ones, sure, but also here to the unjust. So have you ever had a bad boss where you say, well, my boss is so nasty and so bad, I'll steal from him with time or with stuff? And what this passage is saying is that wrong Christian thinking and wrong Christian living is not excused by a wrong milieu in which we live. So that is, just because another person is wrong or evil does not give you a free pass to be evil or to be sinful. Now, as we hear these very difficult passages, be subject to the Lord, be subject for the Lord's sake to every human institution. And then this one here in verse 18, servants, be subject to your masters with all respect. Honor the emperor. Not only the good and gentle masters, but the unjust masters. It's like, how can we do this right? This is a lot to swallow. How can we do this? And who do we have as an example for this? And who can I look to for this topic of unjust suffering? Well, I'm not going to tell you because it's going to come tomorrow. But tomorrow is truly one of my favorite passages in Scripture, and it's what I call the nuclear power plant of 1 Peter. And it's going to be Jesus who is going to give us an example and give us a way to think about and to adorn ourselves in circumstances where unjust suffering is being foist upon us. And he's going to give us an example, and he's going to entrust himself, and he's going to watch his words. I can't wait to teach and to just read it for myself, teach myself it. So please come back tomorrow. We're all the way up the mountain of unjust suffering with nowhere to go, and tomorrow we're going to find the direction. Thank you for listening to Unjust Suffering.